If you've ever been told you think too much, then this one's for you. We're going to dive into why your mind is constantly seeing patterns and how that thing that feels like a total burden might just be your greatest superpower. All right, let me just ask you something right off the bat. Do you notice everything? Like, you feel like you're constantly picking up on all these little details, the energy in a room, the stuff that everyone else just seems to completely miss? If you're nodding your head right now, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah, does this sound familiar at all? While other people are just, hearing the words being said, your mind is working in the background, just quietly connecting dozens of invisible dots. It's this constant, subconscious thing. You're always observing. And because of this, you've probably been slapped with a label, right? The chronic overthinker. People are always telling you to just relax or to stop analyzing everything. And let's be real, some days you probably wish you could just find the off switch. Because let's be honest, seeing everything, it comes with a pretty heavy price tag. This constant mental scanning of reality is, well, it's absolutely exhausting. It can leave you feeling like your mental battery is just completely drained, and you start wondering, is there something wrong with me? But here's where we pivot. This is the crucial part. Your mind isn't broken. What if I told you that your brain's inability to just shut down isn't a flaw at all? What if, as psychology suggests, it's actually the signature of a highly advanced cognitive architecture? It's not a bug, it's a feature. So this is what's really going on inside your head. You have a trait that cognitive psychologists call integrative thinking. And all that really means is you don't just see one-off individual events. Nope. Your mind is built to automatically see the entire system, the web that connects them all. And this right here, this shows a really fundamental difference in how you perceive the world. While a lot of people see things as just a series of isolated, kind of random events, your mind, it instinctively hunts for the underlying structure. You're constantly playing chess, anticipating outcomes way before they happen. So this gives you an incredibly powerful tool, a highly active contradiction radar. You know that feeling when someone's tone just doesn't quite match their words, or a social rule just makes no sense? It's like a quiet alarm goes off in your head. And the thing is, once you see it, you just can't unsee it. So why is your radar so sensitive? Well, for a lot of people with this trait, this skill wasn't learned in a book or in a classroom. It was forged in the fire of necessity. It was a kind of training you never, ever signed up for. And this brings us to a really interesting concept called traumatic intelligence. The idea is that if you grew up in an environment that was unpredictable or emotionally complex, your nervous system learned a critical lesson. Missing a subtle cue could be dangerous. So pattern recognition, it became a survival tool. And this is pretty much how that survival program gets installed. It starts with an unpredictable environment, which puts your whole nervous system on high alert. So what does your brain do? It adapts. It becomes an expert scanner, constantly monitoring for any shifts in mood or tone. And because that scanning keeps you safe, that program eventually just starts running automatically in the background of your entire adult life. And this explains so much, doesn't it? It's why something like small talk can feel physically draining. It's not that you're antisocial or you hate people. It's just that your brain is wired for depth, for meaningful exchange. Shallow conversations, they don't have any complex patterns to analyze, so for your brain, it's all cost and zero reward. And what about analysis paralysis? People might think you're lazy or indecisive, but that's not what's happening. It's actually a side effect of how powerful your mind is. You're not just making a simple choice. You're running these incredibly complex simulations for every single possible outcome. You're literally stress testing reality before it even happens. So what happens when you stop fighting this? When you stop seeing this hyper-awareness as a burden and you start seeing it for what it really is? Well, you start to realize you have an incredible, almost unfair advantage. I mean, just think about how valuable this is. We live in a world that so often operates completely on the surface. Your ability to read the subtext, to spot the hidden structures in situations, that is exceptionally rare. These are literally your superpowers, and they all come from this one skill, pattern recognition. Your ability to spot tiny little inconsistencies, that basically makes you a human lie detector. Because you see hidden structures, you can understand what really motivates people. And that intuition that feels almost supernatural, it's not magic. It's just high-speed data processing. You're just seeing the whole picture when others only see a tiny piece. And this is the key difference right here.
Most people learn what things are. They learn the facts. But your brain is wired to understand how things work. You see the system behind the facts. And that kind of structural understanding, that's the foundation for true mastery in pretty much any field.
So it is time for a rebrand, a major one. Let's just throw out that negative label chronic overthinker. Let's get rid of it, and let's replace it with something way more accurate. Elite strategist. Because that's what you are. You're designed to solve complex problems that most minds can't even see in the first place. Okay, so the next step is to actually unlock that inner strategist. It's all about moving from just endless internal observation to external creation. It's about channeling all that raw analytical horsepower into building something real, something of value. And this is maybe the most important point of all. You don't need to fix your brain. You're not broken. You don't need to fix the engine. You just need to build the right vehicle around it. The right tools, the right systems, and maybe the right projects that can actually handle its horsepower and reward your depth instead of punishing it. Look, your ability to see the invisible threads connecting everything in the world, that is not a defect. It's your greatest weapon. It is a feature, not a bug. So really, the only question left is, are you ready to upgrade? Because that's the first real step, deciding that what you have is not a curse, but a gift.